Florida and Toronto. This is going to be a very good series, in my opinion. Let's start off with the season series. Florida ended up taking that 3 games to 1. Some storylines here. These two teams actually played each other in the second round 2 seasons ago when Florida went on their cup run to lose. If you guys remember back then, they took that one 5 games. Ekblad is suspended for non-steroid use and will miss game one of this series, which is probably in a half hour here. We're recording the same night game one is.
So he's suspended for not using steroids this time.
Correct. Like you know how
Correct,
like
yeah.
in the playoffs you just get like upper body or lower body. Going forward with suspensions for him, it's just going to be steroid or non-steroid related.
Got it.
The Leafs, they have the opportunity here to get to the third round, which they have not done since I was in first grade, 2002. It's been quite a long time. Mario Lemieux was on the cover of the PS2 version of
That's right.
NHL 02, which is the first game I ever bought. So yeah, it's been a while. Anthony Stolar is going against his former team, who he won the cup with last year, and then probably the best storyline. Brad Marchand, even though he's not with the Bruins, finds his way in Toronto yet again. This is going to be his fifth career series against the Leafs, and he has never lost one.
That's
Sure,
crazy.
he'll be welcomed with open arms back in
Oh,
Toronto's.
absolutely, of course. Yeah, this is gonna be wild, guys. I'm having a really hard time figuring out how the Leafs are gonna win this series because I really don't think they have a chance.
You and every expert on
Yeah.
NHL.com.
So I would love to hear from the guy who has said with authority in his chest multiple times in the last 48 hours that the Toronto Maple Leafs will win this series in 7 games. I'd love to hear the rationale behind that.
Yep. And don't just say it's different this year or whatever. I want
It's
to hear you
different.
like actually unpack this shit.
So listen, are the Leafs as physical as the Panthers? No, they are not. I don't think that there's anyone that can compete quite to the same level as the Panthers. But that being said, I do not believe we are dealing with Charmin Extra Soft this year. I think that there's a little piss and vinegar in this lineup. I think there's piss and vinegar behind the bench. I trust Berube. I think this guy knows how to
I
win,
hear that.
clearly, right? He keeps him composed, like we saw back in game one against the Sens when Mark Savard was freaking out, the assistant coach, and he was like, "You gotta calm down. We're here to."
Hilarious.
Yeah, like that's Chief. That's Berube. So I like that. I like what they have behind the bench,
I think
and
that's a
I
good point. I was actually thinking about Craig Berube in the shower the other day and how
As one does.
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Just exactly what you said. I was just thinking how that part of it does feel different this year. He seems confident. So they got
Yes.
that going for him. Continue.
and I have said this so many times. I feel like over the last 4 episodes, I love what they did with Carlo and Tanev. I think that makes a huge difference on the blue line. I think they have two guys who can clear out the front of the net with the Kachucks, the Bennetts, the Marchands. Those are big boys and they're mean. I like the physicality in the back end. Am I like telling you with 100% certainty I think the Leafs are going to win? No, but I think that they will win. I have probably above 50% confidence in that. I just feel like the vibes, and then everything I just explained, they have the best player in the series too. I hate to say it, but Austin Matthews is the best player in the series if he's going.
On paper, I agree.
On paper,
Yeah.
we'll
Um,
see.
yeah, I don't know. I think to me, this just feels like Florida. I mean, I think without a question, Florida and Dallas are the two deepest teams in the postseason right now. And I just don't know if the bottom half of that Leafs roster and the bottom half of that Leafs defense core can hang for a full series against this Florida team. I think that's where I have a little bit of a hard time. Because the thing is, like,
Yep.
Carter Verhaeghe has not woken up yet for the Florida Panthers, and that guy is a playoff goal and point machine. So it's
Yep.
gonna happen at some point. And then I look at guys like Nylander who are good, but like, dude, are you allergic to back checking? Like,
Yeah, I mean he has
Yeah.
you're
his
gonna need to do
glimpses.
that.
He has his glimpses. But I'll give you that. But I like the Leafs bottom six. I've been praising Bobby McMahon for a while. Max Domi, overtime winner in round one. That
That's
was
true.
huge.
Yep.
Lorentz played for these guys last year. He's gonna be fired up, and I like Yarncrook and Lawton. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in. I think that they can hang.
I wouldn't even say it's a depth thing because I agree with you, Harry. I like a lot of those guys. I think we've talked about it already this year on the show that this is probably the deepest Leafs team in the
Right.
Matthews era, and I think that's true. Um, I don't I don't know. I think it's hard because like watching that first round series that the Panthers played in, I it's hard to tell if it's that they were so dominant or if Tampa just like didn't come to play this year. You know
Right.
what I mean? I kind of feel the same way about the Leafs. I almost don't know what we're getting because they did jump out to that 3-0 series lead. And I'm kind of like, was that a fluke because there were some overtime games and everything was so close, but then they were up 3-0? Like, I don't know. I think it's going to be really fascinating to see this series unfold. I don't think it's going to be as chalky as all the analysts think.
Right.
But I definitely think that both of these teams are going to be surprised. I think they're both in for kind of a shock with each other, just compared to their like first round matchups, basically.
I will say this. If the Leafs pull this off, I think on paper it's going to be one of the biggest playoff upsets in the last 20 or 30 years. But I also think, hey, if they can do that, I don't think there's anything to stop them from going the distance at that point because
It
that's
does
going to
sort of
be,
feel like the
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
like just rip that monkey off your back, be like, okay,
Hmm.
2 more series. We just did it. We can do it again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of second round monkeys in the remaining in the playoffs, if you will, and the
Yeah.
Leafs are probably the biggest culprit. I think the big key,
Hurricanes.
yeah, they're there too, but I think the big key factor here is we all have, seen that Toronto five forward unit. They got no D man on the power play,
Yeah.
and Tampa's power play was money all year, and Florida suffocated them. So that's gonna be where the battle is won or lost right there in that little matchup, in my opinion.
And I
Gotta be
also
careful
think,
about a shorty too. The cats love going the
yep.
other way with the puck.
Yep, I also think I know that Stolarz has been fantastic so far, but I'm not I still am not
Mm,
fully convinced that he couldn't fall off a cliff. I mean,
mm,
I know he's had a great year. I know he just had an excellent series, but he's still Anthony Stolarz and
mm.
he's not technically one of the top goalies in the league. He's just not.
Stanley Cup
And
winner, Anthony Stolarz.
yes, that is true.
How many
We
games did he start?
I think we found out he started
Zero.
none and he went into one and he let in like 5 goals or something like
Yeah.
that. But
Yes,
uh
it's fine.
but
Uh,
anyway, I'm just putting that out there. I know how good he's been, but I still give the goaltending edge to Bob.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah.
Last thing I'll say, I'll give like a little player to watch for each team. Sam Bennett is a menace. He's so good. And
Yeah.
Puck Picks puts this on Twitter every fucking game. He bets him to get a point. It's like even money. It always hits. He's from Toronto, I believe, too, if I'm not mistaken. A little off. I think there's a couple rumors that they might try to target him as like their off-season acquisition. We'll see how that goes. But I think he's going to have a big series. And then Mr. Mitch Marner just had a kid, his first
He
kid.
did.
Little dad strength coming in here. I would love to see him have a big series because this is the most physical team they're probably going to play, and we all know how Mitch does against the big physical Boston guys in years past. He is going to be under a microscope, and I think he can have a big series.
Did you see what he said about his wife, by the way, when they asked him about the kid?
No.
No, what do you
It
say?
was the most hockey guy thing of all time. You're literally being asked, like, how's your wife doing or whatever. And he was like, oh, she's been such a beast through the whole thing. Like, just a freaking like
Yeah, we just gotta
gamer or
roll
something.
four lines, get
Like
puck
literally,
skate,
he
get the
literally
baby in the
called her a
crib.
beast. And someone was like, imagine calling your like newly non-pregnant wife a beast for having your kid.
Yeah, sometimes there's no off switch with these guys, but
Yeah, yeah. But
final predictions, fellas. Let's hear it. How many games? Who's winning?
Cats and six.
cats and six. I'm in agreement. Agreement.
Leafs in seven. Leafs in seven. We'll see you in the conference finals.
See,
Who
the
is?
last thing I'll say though is I don't know who I want to win this series just from like a Caps fan perspective. Like if I'm obviously just pretending that we get through this round, who would I want to play more? Because it's what we said about Toronto. It's like on paper, I like our chances against them better, and we actually handled them really well this regular season for the first time in like forever, plus the Carberry effect, whatever. But what we said before, if they get through this round, I don't know what's stopping them.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be going back and forth as the series goes on for me.
And as a hockey fan, like it's still funny to see them lose. I'm sorry. It
Yeah.
just still is kind of funny. So like part
There
of
is,
me,
I don't know. There's a part of me that's like I kind of want them to win, like in a weird way. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm different in that regard, but
I like a lot of their players too. Like I like
yeah.
Matthews, I like Nylander. I don't know. I can't decide who I want to win the series. I guess just I hope it goes seven. I hope it's entertaining.
Yeah. Well said.